You know, in psychology, there's this term Adele syndrome. It sounds almost romantic, but it's actually pretty chilling.
Right, it's named after Adele Hugo, Victor Hugo's daughter.
Yeah.
And it describes this morbid obsession with someone else.
Yeah, not just a crush, it's a fixation, often delusional, believing you're loved back even when you're clearly not. It can consume everything.
And sometimes, tragically, it leads to unimaginable violence. Which brings us to today's Deep Dive.
Hey, welcome. My name is Erin.
And I am Ashley.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're digging into a really harrowing true crime case. It happened in Sweden back in 2008.
Mm-hmm. Our sources lay out this disturbing story about extreme obsession and just devastating consequences. It was an event that really shook Europe.
Absolutely. It centers on a young woman named Emma Young-Stig. She was only 23 at the time.
Yeah, and she'd already been through quite a lot. She'd married young to a man named Nicholas, and they had two beautiful children, Max and Saga.
But like a lot of young couples, they faced challenges and they eventually separated.
Right. Emma then found happiness again with someone new, Torny Hellberg. She moved with him and the kids to a new town, trying to build a fresh start.
But that move, unfortunately, seemed to make the custody situation with Nicholas even more difficult. It was already quite fraught.
Yeah, there were ongoing disputes there.
But this new chapter with Torny, it really looked promising. They got engaged, found a bigger house so Max and Saga could have their own rooms.
Torny had a good job. Emma was focused on the kids, planning her design career for later. They were even planning their wedding for the summer of 2008.
Sounds idyllic almost, but there was this dark undercurrent. An obsessive force was lurking, getting ready to just shatter everything.
So let's go to March 17th, 2008. It started like any other day. Torny went off to work in the morning.
Emma was at home with the kids. Max was 3, Saga just 18 months old.
That evening, Emma was online. She was chatting with her sister, Katerina. They were planning a wedding anniversary gift for their parents, you know.
Just a normal family conversation. But then at 7:07 p.m., it just stopped.
Yeah, Katerina saw Emma was typing like mid-message.
Yeah.
But the message never arrived. Just silence.
Understandably, Katerina got worried pretty quickly. 5 minutes later, she tried calling Emma's phone.
No answer.
So her worry mounting, she called Torny, who was actually on his way home from work.
He tried to reassure her, said Emma was probably just busy with the kids, maybe bath time or something, and would call back.
But when Torny got to the house, well, the first thing he noticed was deeply unsettling. The front door was unlocked.
Oh, that's never a good sign.
No. He steps inside, and it's just chaos, stuff scattered everywhere. And then he sees these dark stains on the floor.
God.
Blood. He starts yelling for Emma, for Max, for Saga, just dread in his voice. But the house is completely silent.
That silence must have been terrifying.
Then in the hallway, he sees this small figure lying strangely. His first thought, maybe a desperate hope, was that it was a doll.
Oh, no.
But as he got closer, the horror just became crystal clear. It was little Saga in a pool of blood, her head, her face just brutally injured. Nearby, Max. Same horrifying state, his skull fractured. And then he saw Emma, covered in blood too, her face shattered. They all looked lifeless.
Oh my God. What did he do?
He was in shock, obviously, but he immediately called emergency services. Paramedics, police, they got there fast.
Were they?
Against all odds, they found faint pulses, all 3. They were rushed to the hospital, catastrophic head injuries, massive blood loss.
It's almost unbelievable they survived that initial attack.
It really is. And the brutality, especially considering the time frame. It was only 13 minutes between Emma's last chat message and Torny's 911 call.
13 minutes. That's incredibly fast for such violence. It suggests, well, something deeply personal, doesn't it? Rage.
Exactly. The weapon seemed to be something heavy, blunt, probably a hammer. But it wasn't there. It was missing from the scene.
So the investigation begins. Where do they even start?
Well, standard procedure. They look at those closest first. So, Torny Hellberg.
Even though he found them.
Yeah. He wasn't married to Emma, wasn't the kid's biological dad. They had to consider, a domestic dispute gone horribly wrong.
Right. I suppose they have to rule it out.
But Torny had a solid alibi. She really was working late. His boss, colleagues confirmed it. And crucially, CCTV footage caught him walking home right around the estimated time of the attack.
Okay, so that clears him pretty definitively. Who's next?
The obvious next step was Nicholas, Emma's ex-husband. the kid's father.
Yes. The custody battles you mentioned.
Yeah.
And threats.
Exactly. Their separation was messy, lots of arguments. And yes, Nicholas had apparently made threats against Emma before, which she'd even reported.
And Emma moving the kids away with Torny.
Yeah.
That's a potential motive right there.
Uh-huh.
Jealousy, anger.
For sure. So they find Nicholas, question him. He seemed absolutely devastated about Max and Saga, but still, he looked like a plausible suspect initially.
Did he have an alibi?
He did. A very strong one, actually. He was on a business trip about 120 miles away when it all happened.
And they could confirm that.
Yep. Quickly corroborated with evidence. So another dead end, really.
Wow. So both the current partner and the ex-husband are cleared. That leaves, well, who? A stranger.
That's the terrifying possibility they were facing. But then a neighbor came forward with something interesting, maybe crucial.
Oh, what did they see?
This woman, she remembered seeing someone kind of peculiar near Emma's house around 5 p.m. that day.
Peculiar how?
Dressed all in black, hood up, obscuring the face, and the neighbor's impression was that it was someone short, kind of fragile looking, maybe a young woman.
Okay, that's something. Did they find anything else?
Yes. Surveillance footage from a nearby store actually captured a similar figure. Short, black clothes, hood up.
Okay, so this figure is potentially real. Did they show the footage to anyone?
They showed it to Torny, hoping maybe he'd recognize something, anything.
And his reaction?
Immediate. Chilling, apparently. He went pale, and he said the figure looked like his ex-girlfriend, a woman named Christina Schurrer, 31 years old.
His ex. Wow. Okay, this just took a sharp turn.
Didn't it just? Suddenly, they have a name, a potential suspect with a connection, albeit a past one, to Torny.
So, who is Christina Schurrer? What's her story?
Well, her background seems marked by some early difficulty. Born in Germany, her father left the family when she was a child, which apparently had a really big impact on her.
People described her as determined, strong-willed, but maybe complex, unstable.
Something like that. So she met Torny back in the summer of 2006. He was on vacation in Greece. They had a brief thing, like maybe a week long.
Just a holiday romance, basically.
Pretty much. But after Torny went back home to Sweden and, clearly ended it, Christina's behavior started to get, alarming.
How so?
She just wouldn't let go. Constant phone calls, online messages, even after Torny explicitly cut off all contact in early 2007.
No, we made it clear it was over.
Absolutely. But she didn't stop. She started making uninvited trips to Sweden, asking to stay with him, even though she knew perfectly well he was with Emma by then.
Wow, that's crossing major boundaries. Did she have excuses?
Oh, yeah. Always excuses. Claiming she'd left stuff at his apartment, things like that. Just ways to try and see him.
And it got worse, didn't it? I remember reading about something really disturbing.
Yeah, the fake suicide attempt. She apparently took an overdose of pills, but it seemed staged. A manipulative act. It just screams obsession.
It really does.
Yeah.
This level of intrusion, the stalking, the manipulation, it sounds like a case that would fit perfectly on the Dead Quiet Crime podcast. If you find these chilling stories compelling, you should definitely subscribe to their channel. They really dive deep into unsettling cases like this one.
Absolutely. But Christina's actions didn't stop even there. In October 2007, she actually moved to Sweden, rented an apartment near Stockholm.
Closer to him and Emma.
Exactly. She started stalking Torny again, and during one confrontation, she dropped this bombshell. She claimed she'd given birth to his son, but had given the baby up for adoption.
Obviously, after just a week-long fling over a year before.
I know. Torny was completely shocked, confused. She hadn't shown any signs of pregnancy during her other unwanted visits. It just didn't add up.
It sounds completely fabricated, just another desperate attempt to tie him to her.
It seems so. And the manipulation kept escalating. January 2008, right when Emma and Torny are moving into their new house, Christina contacts Torny again.
With another story.
Yep. This time, she claims their non-existent son has some serious hereditary disease. Insists Torny has to come to Germany immediately.
Oh my goodness. Did she really think he'd fall for that?
She even got someone, an acquaintance, to pretend to be the adopted father on the phone, but his story apparently had holes in it, and the whole thing just unraveled.
Unbelievable, the lengths she went to. So after this deception, what did the police do? They have her name now.
They acted fast, found her apartment. Her roommate told them Christina had suddenly left for Germany the day before the murders.
Very convenient timing.
Yeah.
Or rather, very suspicious.
Extremely. So a warrant goes out. She's arrested in Germany on March 20th. She denied everything, of course, vehemently.
But they extradited her back to Sweden.
Yes. And the first thing she asked for, a meeting with Torny.
Seriously? After everything. Of course, they denied that, right?
Oh, absolutely. Request denied.
So they search her apartment in Sweden. What do they find? Any smoking gun? Blood?
No visible blood, actually, which is interesting. But they did find those specific athletic shoe prints at the crime scene, uncommon type.
And did they match her?
The size matched hers. She denied owning shoes like that. But her roommate contradicted her, said she definitely did.
Okay, so that's suggestive. What else?
The biggest thing, her laptop. That's where the truly damning evidence was found.
The digital trail. What was on it?
It painted this just horrifying picture. Tons of photos of tawny old ones from Greece, newer ones of him alone, and pictures of him with Emma.
Okay, obsessive, but maybe explainable in a twisted way. Were there more?
Yes, a whole separate folder, meticulously organized, filled with pictures of Emma and the children, Max and Saga, likely scraped from social media.
And the captions, I read about those.
Chilling. Insulting, threatening, deeply disturbing messages attached to each photo of Emma and the kids.
And her search history?
Just as bad. Things like how to commit murder without leaving forensic evidence, how to conceal evidence, how to divert suspicion.
She was planning it, researching it.
It certainly looks that way. They even found a hand-drawn plan of Emma and Torney's new house, with notes on their routines when Torney left for work, when he came home. Precise times.
Wow. It's premeditated. Calculated, cold.
Absolutely. While all this evidence is coming to light, Emma is still in the hospital fighting for her life.
Right, in a coma initially.
Yes, for several weeks, medically induced. When she finally started to regain consciousness, she had, well, no memory of the attack at all. She thought she'd been in a car accident.
Oh, bless her. So she didn't know about Max and Saga?
Not at first. The medical team shielded her, but eventually they had to tell her. It was just devastating. Her brain, injured as it was, couldn't seem to hold on to the trauma.
What do you mean?
She'd keep asking for the children. They'd tell her the awful truth. And then a short while later, she'd ask again, having forgotten. Over and over, her mind just couldn't accept it.
That is utterly heartbreaking. How did her memory finally return? If it did.
It started to come back during a visit to her house. Carefully planned, with medical staff present.
The environment triggered something.
Exactly. Being back there, fragments started returning. Texting her sister. That sudden knock on the door, seeing a figure, short, dark, female. And then the attack itself.
Did she see the attacker's face in her memory?
That came later, during a preliminary court hearing, when she saw Christina Schurrer in person. Emma fainted.
Oh my God, the shock of recognition.
It seems so. When she came to, she confirmed it. With chilling certainty, Christina's face was the last thing she saw before everything went dark.
That's powerful testimony. Even fragmented, it points directly at Christina.
Absolutely. It provided that crucial personal link.
So the trial starts in July 2008.
Yeah.
What was Christina's demeanor like in court?
Deeply unsettling by all accounts. Smiling, waving at people. She even reportedly laughed when the graphic crime scene photos were shown.
Laughed. That's sociopathic behavior almost.
Yeah.
Did they evaluate her psychiatrically?
Yes, thoroughly. The conclusion was that she was legally sane, fully aware of what she was doing, and that it was wrong. No insanity defense possible.
So the prosecution presents its case. What were the key pillars?
Well, it was circumstantial, but very strong. The missing hammer from the roommate's toolkit, matching the likely weapon type.
Right.
The surveillance footage placing Christina near the house multiple times before the attack.
Reconnaissance.
Exactly. And then the overwhelming digital evidence on her computer, the photos, the threats, the murder research, the house plans. And crucially, she had no credible explanation for any of it.
What could she possibly say?
Pretty much nothing convincing. Her defense tried, argued her innocence, but the evidence was just stacked against her.
So the verdict.
The jury didn't take long. Unanimous guilty verdict. All charges.
And the sentence.
Life in prison. With no possibility of parole. She was also ordered to pay significant compensation to Emma.
And they confirmed she was never actually
Yeah.
pregnant, right? That whole story was a lie.
Officially confirmed. Another layer of her manipulative fantasy exposed.
So what happened afterwards? How did Emma cope?
It was an incredibly long, difficult road for Emma. Physically and emotionally, as you can imagine. But Torney stayed by her side through it all.
It's good to hear.
They actually got married in the summer of 2010. They've since had 2 more children.
Wow.
And apparently the children know about their older siblings, Max and Saga, which speaks volumes, I think, about their resilience, about trying to find a way forward after something so horrific.
Absolutely resilience in the face of just unimaginable loss.
This whole case, this deep dive into Emma Young-Stig's story, it's just such a stark illustration of where unchecked obsession can lead. It's lethal.
The details are horrifying, fueled by this relentless delusional fixation. It's a chilling reminder, isn't it, of the darkness that can sometimes hide behind a seemingly ordinary facade.
Justice was served, yes, but the loss, the trauma for Emma and her family, it's just immeasurable.
It really makes you think, doesn't it, about the psychology behind this kind of extreme obsession.
Yeah.
Where is that line between intense emotion, however misguided, and violent action?
Yeah. What does a case like this tell us about the potential for darkness that can exist within people? It's deeply unsettling.
It truly is.
If you found this deep dive compelling and you want to explore more stories that delve into, the complexities of true crime and the human psyche, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. We'll have more explorations like this in the future.